Hello, today's video is about how your belief systems shape your reality and the importance of changing your belief systems to be things that are there to support you rather than things that bring you down. I think a lot of our limiting factors has been our belief systems and the belief systems that we've been programmed with growing up. I think that throughout our lives, society has kind of programmed in these belief systems to keep people in a specific vibrational set point, in order to kind of make sure that they do the things that they want them to do in order for their agenda to be manifested. So the importance of changing your belief system is mostly for your own reality creation and for your own kind of mental set point, because it doesn't really particularly do much for you unless you actually put it into practice. Meaning, instead of just like saying these things over and over to yourself, or you have to like actually see the practical application of the belief system change in order for you to really understand the significance of it. So one big thing is to start to try to notice when you're in a really good mood, notice the way that your perception is and how your perception changes from when you are kind of in just a flat mood, right? So like notice that perception change and try to figure out what it is that you're believing in that time that is causing you to feel better. And a lot of times it's something conditional for a lot of people, where like say something happens and that then gives them the feeling as though they can kind of tell themselves that it's okay for them to feel good, but that is attached to a belief system in that moment. So you believe that something happened that caused you to be able to feel good, but in reality you can kind of shift your belief systems to a point where the belief systems start to kind of work for you. So when you get into a state of slightly lower vibration, you can fall back into this understanding of this new belief system that you've created for yourself, and then using that, you can actually bring yourself back into a higher vibrational set point. And how you do that is by firstly figuring out what it is that you would like to believe is true. So for me, it was changing my thought patterns from being a person who was identified as being depressed to being a person who is identified as being a powerful and worthy person who has the power to project their consciousness around and cause changes in my reality. So it's basically like almost bringing yourself into a point where you're able to convince yourself that you're a magician, or that you are able to make changes in your reality through just your mind and your thought patterns alone. And then once you start to understand that the more that you change your mind into understanding this new paradigm, then the more that it's reflected outside of you. So it's going to first start out feeling as though it's just not right, because it's something that is so new to you that your ego is not going to want to accept the new vibrational set point, and it's going to try to pull you back to the old one, and maybe even lower. But that is just what they call like an ego rebound, or an ego flash back in a way. So what you do is you just you change the belief systems one at a time in your mind. So you start to notice that, for one, the food that you eat causes a huge difference in the way that you feel. So that's the first thing that you do, is that you can change your mindset when it comes down to food, and realize that you eat food not for pleasure, but for sustenance in your body, and for like life force energy. And you are trying to eat in order to be able to regain life force energy. So you need to bring foods into your body that have that life force energy in them, which is live foods, or foods that are alive, like bananas and like kale and like avocados and like other things like this, and it's just things that have live enzymes, portobello mushrooms raw, things like this. And all these different things will start to change your vibrational set point. But you also have to remember that everything that you've done prior to now is also in your auric field as well. So you're gonna have to basically cleanse your auric field, or your mind field, like all this stuff is connected. So like your auric field and your mind are connected as well. So the way that you think is reflected in your aura, and your aura is a reflection of your mind, body, and spirit all together at once. And it's kind of like it's like a frequency that you put off, but the frequency meaning like the bands of communication that you generally set on. So it's like your vibrational frequency, a lot has to do with it, just with the general kind of bands of frequency that you like to sit in. So some people sit in kind of lower frequencies, some people sit in higher frequencies. And what I mean by lower frequencies is like negative thought patterns and things like this, and then looping into doing things over and over again. And then the higher vibrational thought patterns is kind of like spiraling out of these patterns, and then kind of creating your own new patterns that are beneficial and healing for you. And the belief systems, though, is very important, because in order for you to be able to change your reality, you have to change the way that you believe that your reality is. And as you change your beliefs about reality, reality changes to reflect that as well. So if you start to believe that reality is here for your advancement in spiritual, mental, and physical growth, then your reality starts to reflect that in front of you and show you the ways to go about like kind of attaining what it is that you're trying to attain. And if you can change your reality to believe that the universe works for you and works in your favor, and that the universe is there to kind of help to guide you in the right directions, then the universe will actually start to guide you in the right directions. And that's really important also, because I've learned that the more that you kind of trust in your intuition, and you trust in the way that everything guides you, the more that you, first of all, you don't have to think about what you're doing as much. And secondly, you kind of just end up in the right spots at the right time. And I find that really, really enjoyable and synchronistic. And the more that happens, the more that you kind of like start to understand how important these belief systems are, and how important it is to keep yourself in this kind of state of openness, or like radical open-mindedness, and starting to like allow even the universe to show you what to believe in a way. Like if you just kind of drop your belief systems and like look around, then you can almost allow the universe to kind of show you the new improved belief systems that you could have if you just allowed yourself to change the way that you think. And then also, your thoughts have a huge thing to do with your reality. So the way that you think is literally reflected in front of you like immediately. So if you continuously allow yourself to be in a bad mood over things, then that's going to show in all of the events that you are kind of corresponding with. But if you keep yourself in a high vibration, you keep yourself in a state of mind where you understand that everything is happening for the benefit of you, and that nothing's wrong ever, and it's all kind of like, it's all your own consciousness that's being reflected to you. So all of these things are things that you kind of like made for yourself to experience. So when you kind of get into that understanding, but you start to really see how true that is, it becomes way easier, because then you're working with the universe rather than working against it. And most people on this planet right now are working against the universe because they feel like they have to control everything in order for it to turn out the way that is beneficial for them. When in reality, if you were to just let go of all that control, then the outcome would be exactly what you were trying to get by controlling everything. And it's really paradoxical how the universe works. And it's funny how the name of the game is to let go of control and allow the universe to work through you. And that's where most of the kind of really beneficial kind of feelings come from. Because once you start to feel the universe work through you, then you start to get these huge hits of existential joy and love and compassion, because that's literally like the energy that the universe kind of sits in. So it's actually more and more and more being shown to you through the universe working through you. And you start to realize that when the universe works through you, it's not like you're giving up all control over your life. It's more like the universe is lifing you, and then you, instead of you losing your own control or life, like control of your own life, it's more like you gain the control that you always wanted because of the fact that you let go of the control. And the universe like has the control that you want, but the only way for you to feel that is for you to allow it to work through you. So changing the belief systems to understand that the universe is there to work in your favor, and that everything that you're doing is for your own benefit will kind of bring you into a space where you're able to accept that energy from the universe and actually like flow with it, rather than immediately thinking that something wrong is happening or anything like that, or judging an experience before the final outcome has like had the time to manifest. This is just really quick about belief systems. I'm gonna make a couple more today, I think, because I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and yeah, we'll talk a little bit later.